Music for Campfires and Escalations is provided by BattleBards.com. Use coupon code CAMPFIRE for a discount off BattleBards Prime, their premium subscription service. Additional music is also provided by TabletopAudio.com and our very good friends at the Clock Tower, a 5e experience. Their show is quite frankly superb, and I would highly recommend giving them a listen at the link below. You might even hear a few familiar voices. The refugees throw their lot in with the ruby, their fate cast like dice across the gambler's table. Will their wager pay out, or will the house take all in the city of Kundun? Find out on this episode of C&E the Refugees.
You did well, my friends. Respectful, dignified. You've made Tilpa very proud. They will shine on me now for quite some time. And if you fight to do well tomorrow...
Tilpa.
Princes and princesses, I see.
Tilpa was still in the room.
She can hear us regardless, my friend.
Oh, well.
Probably even when we are outside the building, I would think.
As soon as I stepped through the room, I felt the pressure change. I knew that.
Same. So did I.
What?
It pushed Steve.
You know, we're not really walking.
Come, let's get out of this room.
Let's leave.
And then
Yes.
you step out into the hallway. And as you step out in the hallway, now that you've been alerted to it, there's just a slight pressure switch.
Thorn is just
And then
hesitating
you
at that
just
door.
Deary's gonna offer her hand out to help you come through the door.
Why are you so hesitant, my friend?
Don't worry about it. It's let him have time.
Toph, he gets horrendous headaches, and the thing that was causing them was removed while he was in that room.
When we have time, we'll try to help you.
I can try to do some medical attention.
Yeah, there's
It
nothing
is
you
a-
can do to help it.
It
It
is a
requires
constant-
medicine of the soul.
Constant gnawing presence.
Depression.
Of a kind. I'm gonna reach out, take in Deary's hand.
Deary's gonna like pull you into a hug.
Step through the door frame.
Twirling smile.
As you step out, what was that?
You're being rather vocal today.
I didn't like it. I do not wish to have it happen again.
You and I will have to agree to disagree on that particular point.
You feel the slightest pain in your left temple. It's causing your eye to scrunch up. It's almost like a migraine, but it's only affecting you on the left temple.
Pardon me, Thorn. What you thought you just said out loud, did you just commune with it?
It talks. He talks. We know.
You've talked, but not so much out loud. Not like that.
Well, I mean, he does a lot, but I hang out with him a lot, so.
No.
As he
If you
touches
say so.
you, the pain starts to recede slowly. And you feel that presence is still anchored in the back of your skull, but it's gone quiet for now.
I apologize. I know you've all saved me and I owe my lives to you, but I do not... I feel like I'm being left in the dark about something I should probably know about.
Yeah, especially about that, you owing us to your lives. Do you realize you just kind of signed us up for, like, deathmatch galore?
To be fair, I
He
signed
signed
myself
himself
up.
up.
Yeah, but are we gonna let him go just die?
He-
Dagon's not gonna let him go fight alone.
I can't let him fight alone.
He's not gonna let him fight alone. Are you not? You're gonna let those two fight in an arena?
Oh, no. I was not going anyway.
See, this is what I'm talking
That's different.
Do you see what they're roping us into?
Endure.
Slug, 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 slug.
Ah.
Sounds like to me.
Okay, which one of us has the slug right
It
now?
always shuts someone up.
Except for Deary.
Yeah.
Deary is like, this is
I wasn't saying anything.
Why can I hear you all in my head?
No,
it's
it's only
one
one
at a
link at a time. He just slugged everybody in quick succession so that it would get everybody to shut up, except for Deary, who's used to it and does it constantly. So she's just like, see, we're gonna die in a pit because these idiots want to
Stop.
fight.
Thank you. I'm sorry. It's my most effective way of getting everyone in the room.
Tawazi, not on the carpet.
Please have an explanation.
Yeah, you all deserve to know the fullness of this. And he throws back the veil, his weirdly pale white bluish skin, the scales, all of it.
I'm gonna quickly just roll for myself real quick. Toph tries really hard not to just, but you can see in his face he's like,
Yeah, no, he's not pretty. He would be handsome, maybe, if it weren't for. Ugh.
what? What is that?
I was always a tiefling. But on the day of my wedding, my wife and her family decided that I would make a premium sacrifice to their patron, who I have dubbed Steve, because he dislikes it very much, and that brings me no end of pleasure.
And this patron lives in your mind?
In my... yes, very much so. And possibly physically inside of my person.
Question for you.
It's gross.
Your wife and her family.
Very dead.
Fuck.
I was accused of their murder, which is why I was on that boat. In fairness, I don't know if I did or didn't. They were dead when I awoke, and I was like this.
So, with this patron, you have the ability to climb into our minds and speak to us.
Yes.
So you basically have message.
It lasts longer, is not dependent on, is not limited to amount of words, and you can choose to communicate with me as well.
And it feels gross.
And it feels much more penetrative than it should.
Oh yes, there's no easy way. It feels like there's a slug in your brain.
May you please get it out of me.
It's not in you.
Thank God.
You can just feel it. It can lingers for a bit.
Like mucus.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're covered in some kind of oil.
The fact that you don't seem too harmed by this bothers me more.
What's a fucked up drug in this world? Like, what's the equivalent of, like, PCP?
Brain snap.
Redfin.
Look, it's not as bad as Redfin, okay? So, like,
You and my
it really, it's administrable. It's fine.
You and my aunt would have gotten along very well.
Do not want to meet your aunt.
I get along with a lot of people very well.
And to answer your qualm, if I fight in the games and I get some form of renown and worth, I can give that back to the poor side of the city where I grew. And I can try to actually benefit this city, as the nobles will.
Your actions are your own, but your fame is that as well. You use it however you'd like, but if you earn renown, that renown is simply your reputation.
And hopefully with that reputation, some form of gold will follow.
Tilpa sneaks out. Renown in Gundun is worth far more than just coin, my friend. Who you are matters much. If you are a renowned fighter, gold will flow to you. Doors will open to you. Things that were closed will have access.
Deary says, that's
You
not just
have-
Kimdun.
You will have your magic weapons if you win tomorrow. I should say you'll be able to access the place where such things are.
That is quite useful.
When you fight, you still intend to fight. When you fight, they will ask you what you fight for. You can say you're God and all these things in the city. But Tilpa says to you, make sure you say you want access to the Arcanum. Guayarnos and her kind, they sponsor these games and they watch. And if you do not be specific with what you're fighting for, you will get what you say. Do you understand?
I understand.
It would be horrible to go and lose an arm or a leg in some great battle and say you want to support the church. The church does not need your help, but it will get some help, and you will have done nothing but lost a leg. Do you understand?
If I get access to the Arcana, I can use that to benefit the poor.
They're mages. They will enchant things for you, perhaps, if you have coin, but they will not see anyone.
I really just want to sit in that room for like another 20 minutes. It was nice.
Tilpa, if several
I'd
of
like
us
to
go
sleep in that room.
Tilpa, do we each make our proclamation, or is it made as a whole?
Either way you want to do it.
I will not ask for you to fight with me.
Well, I will, Toph. I'm not going into...
You cannot ask to be made a king, or something silly. You know what? You understand. There's a practicality to these matters.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want you to go and say, I want to be the Emperor of Kandun. They will simply execute you for being a traitor.
What if you say you want a friendly audience with the harbor master?
This is something.
I could meet the interesting man.
But understand, what you ask for will gauge what you fight.
I'm assuming fighting for access to the harbor master is a bit of an ask.
As is the Arcanum, I'm sure.
Well, it's not asking for gold. It's not asking for the freedom of a relative justly or unjustly imprisoned. It's not fighting for the reputation of your company, the Refugees. An example. I have fought once in these games.
Really?
I wanted to be a captain.
You did well, Tilpa.
I had to fight my captain.
Oh, I've
They did not tell me this until it was time to fight. My captain wanted something else, something of greater value. He was not as good as I am.
This much is clear.
All things become Tilpas in time.
I think I see whether you picked
You
up
really
that
need to stop
face.
saying that. Steve is starting to pick it up.
I don't dislike this Steve as much when he's in your brain and not in mine.
Ah, we could arrange that.
No, you misunderstood me, my friend. When he's in your brain and not in mine. No. No. He goes to Patrick! As he reaches for his crossbow that isn't there.
Well,
I like this place.
this has been...
We have 2 rooms to cross back to our seats. You still wish to gamble?
Indeed.
Well, how long will it be before...
The games start around 9 o'clock in the morning.
I meant someone was sent to our tables.
Oh, the sooner you get back, the sooner business is conducted.
We won't miss them, though?
They're not, no, they're coming to see you, specifically.
Okay.
They may come to you at the tables if you take too long.
Okay.
The Rubies control boats, the mercantile fleet, the things that we're part of. They also have fingers in some other activities, as you might imagine, from what you've seen here. There are more than just rubies, though. There are about 5 different types, from what I can understand. Each has an overshadowing of a section of Kundu. And they work together for the greater good, but not always aligned, sometimes opposed. And this is where the more subtle great game comes in. Do you follow me?
I do.
It's a very dynamic and fluid place to live. And if you're very good at opportunity, you can do quite well here.
With that being said, if you all are to stay in the club, I must bid you adieu. I have a date with the Pinwheel tomorrow to pick up my weapons for the fight.
As you're moving through the crowd coming out,
Yep.
a page-like messenger asks if you, Philippe, as you acknowledge, simply hands you this and takes off.
Thank you.
Gone.
That is worryingly fast. For listeners, Richard handed Eli a note that he's now reading. It also looks very well done. I can't read it, but I can see how it's formatted from the backside, and it's really nice.
Toft, you're going to retire because you have a big day tomorrow.
I do. True.
Dagon, are you hanging out a bit? Are you retiring as well?
Yeah, I'm hanging out with Awazi, and then he's gonna go get his hair did, and I'm gonna go with him.
I'm gonna get my hair done, and yeah.
If you're not going to bed for now, it would probably be easier if you stay in the casino.
Oh yeah, we're going back to first.
You want to play blackjack, I thought,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You two are going to play something else. You're just with them?
Early to bed, early to rise means I can meet with that person that no one knows.
Okay.
Oh. Secrets.
Hold him.
All right, so the two of you, Tilpa actually kind of bid you guys good evening. You have done well. I will return to the ship. They know you are of my crew. You may play the games. You may bet. You may not fight in the pit. You are not sanctioned to fight here. If you want to fight tomorrow, you are sanctioned. Don't forget to get your things from Padraig. Those are my things. I want them back eventually.
Once we die, we know, Topa.
I wish you the best of luck. Do not go into a debtor's prison tonight. You will not be of any use to your dwarf friend if you are in a prison.
That is true, and I don't want to see him dead.
Everyone dies sometime. So the two of you, or the four of you, enter the gambling room, the casino. Various games of chance. There is blackjack being played. There's poker. There is 21. Texas Hold'em. All your traditional card games. Gin Rummy. Some non-traditional card games. There's Mahjong. There's Go. There's basically, if it's a form of, there's crap table. If there's a form of gambling that exists, it's there. Starting with Thorn and Deary. What would you two like to do?
Thorn will just kind of start planting himself at tables and doing low stakes betting.
In that case, Deary's going to spend a little bit of time beforehand making her way to people who look like they're, sort of side-eyeing her, like she's going to look for the most...
You're looking for a mark.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. She's looking for a mark. She's got some experience in doing this kind of thing before, and she's going to be very excitedly... Well, she's going to be playing it cool, but she's very excited to be doing this kind of business again, and is going to look for a mark who looks like a good mark, someone that looks like they're maybe noble, not the brightest and spending more money than they should, kind of a thing. Someone who looks like they just got a good payday and they're just here to have fun, but has a good amount of money to lose.
Perception check. You can do it with advantage because this is something you're experienced at.
18.
So,
Deary is also going to take her dress and fold it over itself one time, and put that under her sash so she shortens the
you have a mini skirt on.
the length of her dress. Yeah.
So,
Cocktail. Mini.
it takes you a minute to kind of make your rounds, and you come across a table about... It's got 4 or 5 seats at it. There's only 2 people playing. They're playing 21 against the dealer. And you notice one of them is probably half in his cups, but he's well heeled. He's got a stack of gold in front of him, and he's not betting really intelligently. He seems to be... he's not so drunk that he's out of it, but he's definitely... his inhibitions are down.
Okay.
He looks to be well dressed. Could be a minor noble, hard to tell. Maybe a merchant. Definitely someone with means. Got a blonde, curly hair, but the curls look unnatural, like somebody did his hair. He's got like those curly curls going on. He's dressed in finery, velvet vest, white shirt with a nice collar. He's got a couple rings on. He's got a large symbol of Dwazi hanging from his neck. What do you do?
Before going over to this man, Deary is going to flick herself in both eyes. And then with her eyes red and looking kind of like she's going to sit down next to this man at a table, look really sad, and start placing a couple bets.
Okay.
And she's just going to act very demure, and like she's knowledgeably placing herself in a position that she would obviously catch his eye. Like she's leaning forward, kind of towards him, but like
So on a rounded table, you would be almost in his eye line where you're
yeah.
sitting.
And she's also just kind of like playing it up like she's a bard, so she's very convincingly making it look like she's like very sad and vulnerable right now.
What are you doing?
I imagine he's at a different table right now.
Yeah, Thorn is planted himself at the Texas Hold'em table and is doing some low stakes betting there, just to sort of plant himself there.
Because you
Performance
don't
check.
start at the same table as the person.
Give me a
you're gonna
performance
cheat
check with advantage for your "Oh Poor Me" routine.
with. Unnatural 20.
So it takes a few minutes because he's really focused. He's losing pretty much every hand because he's
Right.
betting stupidly. But
Deary
he's got enough where it would take him all night to lose his money.
is also going to be playing very smart, so that she looks like she's doing very well despite being sad.
And he begins to strike up a conversation with you. Whatever's wrong, you're doing well. I've not seen someone win so quickly.
Yes, I wish I could be more. I'm sorry. I don't want to be bringing your night down at all. It's just my lover found another woman and said that I wasn't good enough.
Oh, that can't be true. He's probably just... Well, he's a scoundrel, that's what he is.
She is going to smile sadly at him and go, "Yes, I suppose you're right. I should stop thinking about him, but I'm so sad and I don't know what to do now."
Well, you're in the doldrums of spite. This is the perfect place to stop thinking about an ex.
She goes, "That's what everyone has told me, and I've got this money, but I don't know. It's just not doing it for me."
Money isn't doing it for you?
Well, I don't know.
Sacrilege!
She goes, "Maybe I'm not doing it right."
Iwazi, what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to go and have a few rounds of blackjack, have simple time, spend up towards maybe 20 gold. 40 gold tops. From there, I'll probably head out and then get my head out. But the entire time I'm sort of just chatting back and forth with my good friend Dagan.
What are you talking about? Where are you guys at? What are you doing?
The last one I think is very much centered on the breath that you use. You can use different colors and different styles. However, if your breath is not consistent and exactly how you want it to be, it will end up as a simple bubbled piece of shit.
Really? I've never actually handled glass. As a tinker, I always just kind of mended, fixed, repaired, and acted as an assistant to my late father.
Everyone always thinks it's very simple. Now, if you're going to make a nice, very precise piece, such as that one bubble over there, the one with the multiple bulbs, that one, it would take about, well, for me personally, probably 30 minutes. That's just...
30 minutes for a fine piece?
Yeah, of course.
Are you gambling as well?
Oh, yeah.
Both of you give me a d20 roll straight up.
Six.
16.
You, however amount of money, would you say about 40 gold?
He's
I said
doing
like
40.
40.
I'll do 20.
Unfortunately, your luck is not with you this night. You end up losing rather quickly in a few quick successive hands, probably because you're talking more than you should be paying attention.
Yeah.
You lose all of it. You, on the other hand, somehow are carrying on this conversation about this deep glass making process and tracking the cards quite well. Almost as if you were counting cards, but not quite.
Mhm.
And you seem to be winning. You've doubled your money.
My eyes are facing towards you the entire time, so like if someone says, "He's counting cards," like, I haven't looked at the board once. So my hand.
You notice as you look around that the individuals that you saw with the harbor master in the same ring, their gaze is towards your table, but they're not moving to do anything. They're kind of more watching the one that's yelling out to make sure he's not going to start any trouble. You get the impression that if you're not obviously trying to cheat the house, that you'd probably be right here.
Regardless, I'm pretty back where I'm from. A piece like that would be worth. If you're making a contract, it's different. But if you want to just do one piece by itself, clean 15 gold at least.
You think you could teach me how to make a tipped vial sometime?
Of course, not a problem at all. The coat for the top of a gourd or something like that is a bit different, but you know you could probably make a nice little glass piece to seal it in as well. It wouldn't really have as good of a seal as a good cork one, though. Then we continue.
Toft, you've gone to bed.
I do.
Alright. And Philippe, have you also retired for the evening?
Yep.
Okay. You two are going to get your hair cut. Are you going with him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's not getting cut, it's just getting fixed.
So-
style.
You spend a little bit of time and you realize it's 9 o'clock at night. It's going to be hard to find somebody open this late, so you ask around. And it turns out within this establishment, off on an alcove, there is, for lack of a better explanation, a, not a cosmetology section.
A salon?
It's not a salon so much
A
as
stylist?
the women that perform here and those that come in on arms. Usually people come here, they spend like 6, 7, 8 hours here. They come, they watch a show, they might go and participate in a fight or fight, bet on a fight. Then they spend some time in the casino. They may have business with the this is an evening out.
Yeah.
So there are people that are body valets, for lack of an explanation, that are on standby to keep everyone's appearance up, especially if they spent long hours at the table. How, again, if you went to Vegas, they have the all-night places open for different sundry trimmings. And so you find a small alcove where, though not a barber, there's someone that could probably tend to your hair there.
Yeah, I'll head over there.
There's an older lady, well-groomed, hair's pulled back in a bun. She has a stall, and there's a reminiscent of a barber's chair next to her. She's just sitting. There's a couple other chairs and stalls that look like they've been closed down for the night. But a quick glance looks like there might be places where one can freshen up makeup or tend to a torn garment. It is, after all, the 1700s. Things get a little rough and tumble.
Mistress, excuse me.
Oh my, look at you.
Yes, thank you.
Quite tall.
I am. I'm in need of a bit of hair work done, if you don't mind. I haven't had time to go today, and things are out of whack, I suppose is the phrase you would use this time.
What exactly do you need done?
I need a few braids. Simple things to keep the hair from here to here.
Easy.
Perfect.
Easy to do. Ornamental? Do you have anything you want to put in?
Yes, actually. And he reaches into his pack and pulls out a few things. He pulls out he grabs essentially just a bit of silver beading and things like it's literally just silver beading. It looks like it's a small heavy beads of silver that would be able to hang down and keep your hair weighed down.
Okay. She takes the silver beadings. I'm Beatrice, by the way.
Iwazi, thank you.
I'm usually here when the bar's open. You have to say you're the first. And she's waiting. There's a big pause. The first tabaxi that I've worked with. This is marvelous, but such a rarity. You're not from here. And she
No,
starts
no.
working all of the beads.
From around across the sea a bit of a ways. We took the gauntlet to get here.
You survived the gauntlet.
A dangerous place to be.
Oh, most that go through the gauntlet don't get here.
I can believe that. There were more than a few problems.
You've come at a great time. The games are tomorrow. Will you go and watch?
I plan to proceed in them.
That explains the braids.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like me to put a big heavy one at the end?
Yes, please.
Oh. So she smiles. She starts working the braids in. And at the end, you've got 3 braids. Thick ones that comes down like this, and then one in the center. And each one ends, they're braided back and pulled, so your vision, even if it falls forward, they won't fall. She's got them braided back. Once she understands you may be in the games, she completely understands what you're going for. And each braid ends, she fishes out of her accoutrements, large leaded, almost like fishing weights, heavy. And she goes, I'll bet on you tomorrow. When you get close, if you swing, if you catch him in the eyes with one of these, it won't hurt him. It's going to make it really, really hard for them to see for a few minutes.
I like the sleight of hand and just pass her an extra 15 gold.
And her charge is about 1 gold, so he's giving her 16 gold, and she smiles.
We aren't the Lords of the Mask anymore.
No, we're
We don't
not.
have this much money, guys.
I have some money. Leave me alone.
I haven't bought
I
anything.
know.
Hey, if this goes well, you and I are
I
gonna have
just
a
made
good chunk
double
of
what I
money.
had already.
Yeah.
This is a different
Beatrice,
thing.
you are exceptional at your craft.
It's all knowing what the customer wants.
I can tell you're very quick to adapt to needs.
Well, they don't let just anyone work here.
Oh, I can see why you're here. You think you could show me a few styles? I've never really been in a place like this, and I don't think my scruffy cut really works.
Does it get in your eyes when you fight?
I wouldn't say so, but I wouldn't mind putting it up.
Do you just want it to be out of the way?
Yeah, I think that would be best. Something that looks nice. I don't really feel like I fit in a place like this.
So she takes it and she pulls it back into like a very Steven Seagal ponytail, but it's higher up on your head, and puts it in a knot. And so you've got, it's very utilitarian but stylish. It's almost like a tail as it comes around at the top, but it's pulled back. So no matter what, your field of vision will stay clear. But it's got a very, the only detriment is if you get into a grappling match, you have a handhold on your head.
That's alright. This is quick. Thanks for that.
And she's like, he's overpaid. You keep it. It's on the house.
Thank
She
you.
goes, and then she goes, are you fighting tomorrow?
I think I will be, yeah.
Wear a helmet.
Will do.
Otherwise, it's like a teapot deer. It looks really good, but in a fight,
Well, I'd hate to have my head broken open like porcelain. Thank you.
so you're sitting next to this gentleman, and and you're getting to know each other. He goes, I'm Reginald, by the way.
She goes, my name's Caitlin.
What is your end goal?
To get him to say we should go to the Texas Hold'em tables.
Persuasion check.
Okay.
It's fine.
19 total.
All right. He's a bit tipsy.
Uh-huh.
Takes you a while to work him over to the Texas Hold'em without being obvious.
Right.
It's getting on in the evening. It's probably around 11 now, so it's starting to loosen up. You're there with maybe 1 or 2 other players.
And she definitely doesn't take a seat herself.
Right.
She's definitely just like hanging all over him, pretending to be a little bit more drunk than
And
she
he
is.
kind of sits down. You get the sense that this is probably his maybe one big night out a month kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's not a wealthy man, but he's saved up to come in and be a wealthy man. He's got money to burn tonight.
Right.
Tomorrow he'll be ruining this night.
She doesn't want to leave this dude devastated, and she's not going to. But she is going to... I'll say her end goal, being an experienced person at this game and having an advantage unlike she's had ever before, is not only going to try and make it so that we take the majority of this, or that Thorn takes the majority of this man's money, but help him win against, like, tell Thorn to fold out of the hand early, and then her help him play, like, without her actually helping him, like, sort of sleight of hand, like, helping him play this game,
Risky.
huh?
Helping him play risky.
Not play risky. actually helping him win against the other people at the table.
So we can win his.
So he takes a
So
seat
that
at
we
the
can
table.
win the other people's money through him.
So he takes a seat at the table, and from your vantage point, you actually can see one or two players' cards. So it would be easy to kind of mind link this to have him win some of their money and win some of their money, and then you win all their money, and then just kind of keep it so it doesn't look like you're just soaking this one poor sot in the game of
We're
Texas Hold'em.
also gonna, which makes it look even less like Deary is just cheating this
Right,
dude.
because it's like he's winning. These two they're not winning.
And I'm 100% gonna be like, we're losing this hand. Like, throw in big, make a show of it, be really upset.
How
Like,
much money are you, over the course of this game, are you willing to put out?
well, that's the thing. We're playing with his money mostly.
Okay.
Thorn started winning, so Thorn plays really low bets. So it would be how much money
Probably
did
start-
Thorn make above
Probably
his
start
line?
with 30 gold at the start.
Right. Deary
So-
also spent 30 gold to
Roll a
convince this man.
D100 for me.
Okay. 16.
16. So he starts out kind of reserved because he's not played the game before.
Right.
But with you on his arm and whispering in his ear, he starts to crank the bet up. He goes from 5, then he doubles that down to 10. He gets to where he's paying 15 gold a hand. Which kind of starts to feel like he's approaching where everybody else at the table has been betting.
Right.
What are you telling Thorn?
Well, as soon as we sit down at the table, Deary goes, finally! Oh my god, this dude smells and he won't shut up.
I've been watching
There
from across the room. He
there
seems
she is.
rather obnoxious. But he has so much money.
And his hands are sweaty. Deary's just gonna complain for like a good majority of the time and be like, hey, this is 7. He's got 7 too. Don't worry about it.
Thorn will mask like his laughter with drinks.
Yeah. But ultimately, a lot of the conversation between them is gonna be Thorn listening to Deary being like, "Oh my god," and like cringing at like every time she's dealing with this dude, because she's also never had the ability to just like fucking whine about shit while doing this kind of business.
Without talk.
And
So
she's
you have a constant drone in your head.
I'm used to
Yeah.
this. I don't know if this
It's
is
like
perfectly
having
normal.
It's like having
it might
two
actually.
Steves.
It might actually be better because it's giving him something to focus on that is not Steve.
But over the course of the next hour or so,
Steve is terrible at cards. by
you
the way.
turn 30 coins into about 300. It takes about an hour because of the way you guys are doing it.
Right.
It's like he takes some, he gets confident, he bets big, you bet big. You end up, as about an hour goes by, you feel a hand on your shoulder.
Okay.
And you turn around, and it's a very buttoned up, almost bookish looking woman.
Okay.
She has a ruby ring on.
Right.
She has a ruby crest.
Okay.
And she simply leans in and she goes, "That's enough, dear."
Are we had?
Deary goes, yep. And I'm going to say, of course, my apologies. We just like to display that we like to play games.
It was entertaining.
She
Not for
she
Reginald.
nods respectfully.
Thorn is just gonna pop into your head. You can leave first. I'll follow you out in 10.
You leave first. You show, or I'm gonna make this dude's night worth it, and then we're gonna go.
Reginald's
I'm
in his
so
cups at this
sorry.
point. He's been ordering drinks the whole time. He's almost sloppy drunk at this point.
Thorn is gonna stand up from the table. You all have a good night. Take his
Uh,
money and go.
Deary
Bye,
is-
horned man!
Goodbye,
she's-
Reginald. It was a
Wow,
pleasure
that man-
meeting you.
That man took us for everything we were worth. We should go get a drink.
Okay.
And she goes, it's fine, let's go. And she hands him his 10 gold, and she pays for the drinks that are coming in. If the dude doesn't mention anything throughout the entire night that he has a wife or a girlfriend, Deary is, much to her dismay, gonna rock this dude's world and make out with him for a bit, and then slip 20 gold into his pocket.
Okay.
So that he's leaving with the same that he started with. And she and Thorn are rolling out with 300.
He seems, though probably far poorer than when he walked in, to be on cloud 9.
Yeah.
As you guys finish, you're in a booth, and as you're finishing your makeout session, the same girl with the same ruby necklace and the same ruby jewel comes and sits down as you're finishing making out. And she looks at Reginald and she goes, "It's time to go." He gets up and kind of looks flustered. And then he looks back to her and he leaves. And then you're just alone with this woman in a booth. And she simply looks at you and she goes...
Gary goes, "1 second." Takes like a napkin and like...
The things we do.
Yeah.
Spice?
Oh, yes. She's gonna look around the tavern for Thorn.
He's on his way out. You guys are now in the main last room.
She goes, "Yes, that would be my friend." And she motions for you. Or actually, Spice Lady's here.
Oh, okay. I put down a hard drink for you.
Thank
Get
you.
the taste out of your mouth.
That was something.
Well, our friend who we spoke to
Oh,
said
no,
that there
it's
was
a useful skill.
Yes.
Believe me, we've taken notice.
She...
Can you do it without your friend? Is it innate, dear, or is it a gift?
From what I've experienced, he does not need to be here for my powers to work.
Good to know. Spice.
Yes, we have. Last we checked.
Inventory music, inventory music, inventory music, inventory music.
We're looking at our inventories, finding out what we are carrying. We got the money, we got the weapons, and we've got so many
I think
gems.
Trent wrote it down.
Trent's got the money.
Trent's got the note. Trent, look up how much spice we have.
We had 2,500 gold worth of dragon spice as valued in the east. I do not know exactly how much would be. I believe it was about 50 pounds.
That's what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? We could definitely use it here. It's in most of the foods we produce.
Well, 2,500 would be an acceptable price. That is, of course, how much it would be worth in the east. I understand it's not easily acquired here, so a decent markup. 3,000 would be unreasonable, I feel.
3,000 seems a bit excessive, but there was mention of a scroll. If the scroll case were included with the spice at that price point, you would probably have a deal.
Is this acceptable?
Did Tilpa mention anything about how much he thought the scroll case might be worth?
He didn't. He said it would be invaluable in some hands, in other hands it would get you hung.
500 for pawning off a hot item.
500 gold. Deary says, we would honorably accept this price for people who might one day be our most trusted business associates in this game we like to play.
Outstanding. A deal has been reached. Where is the spice?
On the twilight time.
And the scroll. She puts out a hand, she takes it from you, she unscrolls it, looks at it. Oh yes, we can definitely make use of these. I'm surprised he parted with it. She puts it back in and caps it, and she snaps her fingers. And a small, gnomish-looking creature, kind of almost Cousin It looking, comes out of nowhere from around the corner. She simply hands it, and it's almost at a go. Takes it, never stops its stride, and keeps going and disappears off into the depths of the club. Do you want your payment here, or would you like it delivered when we come to pick up the spice?
Here is fine.
She claps twice. And two rather burly-looking gentlemen, kind of very East End Londoner, thick burly men come up. They have a small chest. They open it up. She counts it out in platinum, and they're standing in such a way that they have completely screened you off from the rest of the club, and they're kind of just, before you get back to the boat, somebody will have retrieved the spice already. I'm sure Tilpa won't object. He understands why you were here.
He's already agreed that the spice for now is ours. And now it is yours.
If nothing else, he'll eat a lot of meals here. He'll get it back one way or another. He always does. She stands, she goes, pleasure doing business.
In the end, all things are tiltless.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Likewise.
And she turns, and her little, her large compatriots pick up what's left in the chest and follow her. And she goes in the same direction the little cousin-it-looking gnomish creature went. And they all disappear into the recesses.
Did you see her tie? I loved her tie.
It was a nice tie. She
It was
was
a
very
nice
well
tie.
dressed.
Yeah.
I liked her ring.
Anyway,
We're rich.
yeah. Well, so, ideas for you. My new, very, well-dressed friend.
Missed nice clothes.
She goes, me too. She says, this. She goes, 2,500, and, like, slides the platinum pieces on the table, goes, was from the spice. That was belonging to everyone.
Right.
So that splits up. This, she slides over the 500 platinum, was from my scroll that I claimed, as Iwazi claimed the Book of Things. This, as my new trusted buddy and compatriot, I would like to split. She puts her hand right in the middle of it and slides 250 over to herself and over to you, between the two of us.
You sure?
Yes, of course. I, however, this money is yours. What I think we should do with it is hire some amiable young casters and teach them that spell you know.
I'm still working on it.
But by a small establishment, you help to start teaching them the spell you know, and we start having them take seawater from the bay and turning it into salt.
Here's the only problem today. If we start outsourcing immediately before we've established ourselves, we run the risk of corporate espionage happening like that. This is a big game we're playing now.
In that case, why don't we start with corporate espionage? I'm sure there is more than one person here who would be more than happy to have us in on their sort of protection for a small fee that we would easily make back. I'm sure you have no problem with dealing with people who might be willing to make sure that nobody else tries to fuck with our business.
Oh no, I have no objections with that whatsoever.
Tough.
But I feel like it's appropriate for us to have an established product first.
Well, we have the product. We have the idea.
Well, yes, we do. We have the product. We have the idea. We have some salt I made on the beach.
And I have marketing. All I'm saying is that even with my 250, without our cut of this, and she gestures to the huge fucking pile on the table,
Yeah, start putting that in a bag.
without the rest of this, we still could start a very respectable small business of salt, and this turns into a recurring fund.
That does sound very nice.
And the best part, which I'm sure you'll fucking agree, we don't have to do anything.
Toft,
Yes.
when you get back to the ship, you're starting to come aboard, and Molly comes running up to you. She's got a small package in her hands. She's like, Mr. Toft,
Yes.
a man brought these by. He said he's from the Pinwheel.
Ah.
He said you have interesting friends, or was it connections, acquaintances? Regardless, he said he found time in his schedule to move your orders to the front of his list of to-dos. And she hands you the hammer, and she hands you the dagger.
Molly's buff.
She's been rowing.
Yeah, that too.
Been rowing a lot.
I will have to make a visit there tomorrow
Okay.
to show my thanks. Thank you, Molly.
They said you paid in full.
I did, but to have something be a priority is due of an in-person thank you.
As you wish. As you wish. And she sprints back up the deck, and she goes around, and you see Njibari is there, and he's actually got two daggers in his hands. He flips one over and hands it back to her, and it looks like he is showing her where the carotid, where the jugular, all the different places where if you hit,
Jabari!
it makes a point. It
Look,
makes
I'm
a,
just saying, how is it femoral artery level?
and she's holding the blade, and he's showing her to hold the blade so it's along her forearm. It's very cloak and dagger and efficient. So you two, it's getting later in the evening. The harbor master and his folk have all gone.
Right.
younger merchants are still there. There's another performer on the stage. Not quite as good as the first two. You can tell that the main acts had come and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Not even enough. It's background music. It's not really enough to grab your attention. But they look like the people that might own a tailor shop or might own a cobbler shop. Not the ones working in it, but the ones that own it.
Okay.
And give me a perception check, actually.
15.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to kind of eavesdrop enough, sit close enough to understand that these are owners of businesses, not tradesmen, but the ones who own the trades.
Right.
So it's easy enough to kind of let it be known that you guys have a budding business and you're looking for a partner, perhaps to be more upfront.
Right. Especially someone that can help us go through the correct channels and help us run the business since we are often not here. And she's just going to put that out there and put where they're staying so that people can know to get the message across. And I have a feeling that if we drop Tilpa's name, people aren't going to be like, let's go steal things from that ship.
You get well, the ones
That's how you lose hands.
the men you talk to are they don't seem rough enough to have even that in their scope of something they might consider doing.
Right.
And it's a casual conversation. They don't seem as interested in you as most usually are.
Okay.
They're intrigued by you just because you're different. But it's a casual conversation, but at the end of it you get to just that you've probably put the word out.
Okay.
That you'll probably get someone come calling sooner or later.
Okay. So we'll just wait on that with our Salt Empire, and then
You've also got the whole business with Huck. You may have results coming from as well.
the fish stand
Huck's
dude?
Fish and Chips.
Yeah, exactly. So we bullshitted Salt Empire to that man, but we also are using that word of mouth to help boost.
Are we doing the thing that Trump did
higher
where he
reputation.
said he had a lot of money in order to get into investment deals to make enough money?
Yep.
To say that he actually had money? Yes.
Okay.
Deary is literally barding her way hardcore into helping Thorn have a Salt Empire.
Salt Empire.
Um,
Here's I learned how to make Salt Empire. That's
and then we're gonna go drop off everybody's share of the money that we got
which
at
is
the Twilight's
416 gold.
right, Twilight's Tide. 417 to them, 416 to you and I.
Okay.
That way they get the 4 extra platinum, and we have the money that we split from the other
gold.
things.
Do you tell them how it was done, or just
Nope.
that it's done?
It's done.
Okay.
We're not even telling them. We're leaving it there with Molly and
Sorry.
Jabari, and we're gonna go get tattoos.
Jabari, being a quartermaster, is quite used to splitting up loot amongst the crew.
So am I just in a room and Jabari just comes in and goes,
He's like,
Sack of gold.
and Derry sends her regards.
well, the majority of it is in platinum pieces. It's just that much gold's worth.
oh, these are regards?
I believe they sold something.
What level are we at instead of
We're at
curiosity?
middle merchant.
You're
Merchant? Okay.
the money you have. At the moment, you're probably like a shopkeeper,
That's not bad.
but
Bad for just having showed up.
cash on hand. If you go and spend a bunch of it on stuff, I mean, that's the problem with adventurers, right? Is you're not a business owner, so you don't have this much money continuing on hand. You've got this much money, and you can buy fancy, shiny, blingy stuff, and you have no money. Now you have to go out and do more adventuring.
I mean,
That's
speak
why
for
you're
yourself.
not-
We're gonna be salt barons.
Unless one invests properly in a business, and then you get mailbox money, and you don't have to deal with any of the nonsense of killing kobolds for cash.
Deary is gonna go to the tattoo shop and not haggle over price, and just go to whatever artist is the better artist.
It's a dockside town. There's one tattoo shop near your boat, which Jabari has pointed you to.
That tattoo shop is making a killing.
There's probably more in Kundun. This is the one that's closest to your boat and where Jabari has gone to get his. It's called the Black Quill.
Okay.
Good day.
You go in. This is not a tattoo shop in modern times. This is a tattoo shop, and it's a guy. He's got a counter, Behind him, he's got kind of like a barber's chair. Looks like he might also do a little dentistry on the side. There's a bucket, a little blood in it. And he's got a needle and a pot of ink.
So,
And he's sitting back. He's reading a paper. It looks like his fish was probably wrapped in it beforehand. He's bald,
this hurts me.
clean. He's got a, it's like it would be a homespun wife beater type shirt on. No sleeves, the neck's kind of wrung out. But he's got exquisite ink all across. He's got almost full sleeves that go across his chest, very nautical.
Where does he go for tattoos?
Yourself, maybe? I don't know.
No.
And he looks up as you walk in, and he looks to the two of you. Neither of you look like his normal clientele, so he just kind of looks back down.
Does Jubari have good tattoos?
He does.
Okay. If the work is worth it, then yeah, Deary's gonna. Either way, Deary's gonna look at this man, and
He looks up. You need a tooth pulled.
no, we're here for art.
He looks at you both. We don't paint and do drawings here. That's not the kind of shop we are.
Deary pulls one of her gloves off and shows like the whole fucking forearm piece of Kronos that has like she's got a fucking hand tattoo. Like,
Oh, you want ink?
yeah. We're from the east.
Jabari sent us here.
Yeah.
He crosses his arms. Johnny Two Thumbs, at your service. What can I do you for?
Are you Jubari's tattooist?
He raises up one hand. 3 fingers are missing. I can do more with these 2 fingers than most can do with a full hand.
I like the confidence.
I also like the confidence. Deary goes, well then you're our man.
Now, Jubari, you said, of the Twilight's Tide.
Yes, we are members of the Twilight Tide crew. Recently initiated.
Are you flush?
Oh, she goes, yeah, no, we've got some coin.
So, would you be wanting a normal tattoo? Or are you looking for something a bit more?
Well, what can you do?
With those 2 thumbs of yours.
Well, what do you got? And what do you want?
She looks at him and says, well, you should know, as a shrewd businessman yourself, that starting with what I have is a poor way for me to do business. However, what you have, and what you can entice me to perhaps spend more than I should on, is, I believe, in the salesman.
He clears his nose. Huge gob comes out and goes into the bucket. There's 2 types of tattoos you can get here. I don't know if I can do anything for him.
It's the scales.
Might be able to do something on the horn.
That's what we were thinking.
He is a dentist.
I could carve into it or something. It's about pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But
It sounds so painful.
it depends on, and I ask you of your coin, little dove. Because if you have enough, you can get a certain type of tattoo that'll put a little bit more hitch in your giddy up, as they say. But that's not cheap. Jubari has not yet gotten one of these. I would imagine if you got one and you were of his crew, he might just be a little bit jealous. Not in a bad way.
That might be worth it.
How much?
For the special tattoos,
Yeah.
they're expensive.
I'm prepared. Whether or not I'll buy one is dependent upon price.
About 1,000 gold. Normal ones run you about 3.
Here goes. Perhaps at a later time. We have some
We are barely,
business.
We are barely at that. much
There's
money.
some magic involved. It's a pricey thing.
Of course. We quit fighting games again. I fucking magic tattoo. Yeah, I can earn shit from it. For me, I do. Deary does things for her and for the people who are her friendos.
So it'll just be a regular then?
Yes.
What are you after?
She is. He said the regular ones are about 3 gold. She's going to.
As soon as you start to talk money, his kind of gruff manner just fades. His speech becomes a bit more clear. He kind of sits straight. He's more straightened up in his chair. He's still the person he was, though his mannerisms changed totally. It's almost as if he vetted you, and now you're worth his time and effort.
Right. Deary is going to say, well, now that you, as now that we're talking about what the work I would like to get done is, Deary, he said normal tattoos around 3 gold, right? Deary puts 10 gold on the counter.
300.
Oh, 300 gold. Oh, okay. That's different.
Depending on the size. You haven't told him what he wants yet, but he's
Right.
thinking a sleeve, it's about 300.
Right. Deary is going to pay 400 because she'll still have 250 for the business investment.
What are you getting?
She is going to get from the top of her knee all the way down to her ankle on her leg a depiction of a cyclops fighting a dragon.
Oh.
That will definitely cost you 300.
Yeah.
And every cent of it.
That's why she's paying 4.
He's like, and you want that carved into his horn?
Well, that's up to him. What he gets is up to him. I want this because it is representative of the last sort of story that our friends and I sort of collectively helped recover from ancient times. And she's got like the exact.
He takes out a book and he flips through it. Do you have it drawn?
Yeah. She came in ready because she wants like the mural that was on the dwarf wall pretty much tattooed on her.
It's gonna take some time.
She goes, yeah, I imagine a few sessions coming in multiple times.
You can get started tonight. It'll probably take 2 hours to get the black lines done.
Yeah, I imagine that's fine. We'll do that. I'll go to a temple later and make sure that it heals quickly, and then we can start again maybe the day after tomorrow. I've got to be in the games tomorrow, so...
Well, then we'll just get the outline done. You don't want to be up all night.
Right, of course. And
what do you want on your horns?
We'll decide that later. We'll start with her. But I'll have something for next time.
So
she pays up front.
He motions
she pays the whole thing.
He doesn't even take the gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's on it, but he motions to the chair, and you lay down in the most advantageous position for him to reach your knee. And sure as to his name, with one hand he scoops up the needle, and it's resting through here, and then it's kind of like, so he's got pressure on either side of the needle.
Right.
And it's very much, there's no tattoo guns in this day and age. So it's very much Samoan style tattooing.
Right.
Just yep. And he gets to work. And he's just holding on, whap, 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 into the ink pot. Whap, 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 into the ink pot. Whap, 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 whap. And after about 2 hours, he's got a really good outline. And you can see a large humanoid form.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have any detail to it yet.
Right.
It looks like something coiled around it. And it very much looks like perhaps a snake or something coiled around at the top. He goes, well, unless you want to be here till dawn, that's probably all we should get into tonight.
That's fine. I'll walk myself to the nearest temple and get it healed up immediately, and we'll go fight in the games tomorrow, and perhaps we'll see you again later.
Well, if you want it finished, you will.
Of course. I mean, perhaps, because you never know what could happen in the games. We may not be able to return, hence why I'm paying you the full amount for your services now.
Tell you what, if you die, I'll give Jabari credit on his next.
Just couldn't ask for a better deal.
Pretty sweet.
And he laughs. All things are Tilpas in the end, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Have you? I don't know if you know, but that's very, very
Prevalent.
Steve,
true.
Tilpa does not belong to you.
Tilpa's been around these docks a long time.
She goes,
Jabari is Tilpa's. Your money goes to Jabari. Your money's going to Tilpa.
She says, well, there isn't anything better to say than, in the end, all things are Tilpas.
Stop.
If you survive tomorrow, we can go another in the afternoon. Start putting some color in.
Excellent. I'll be here for it. Thorn, if you like, it's getting late. You can go back to the ship if you want. I have to go.
I'm not spending another night on that ship. I'm going to an inn.
Alright, well, what inn are you going to so that I know where to find you?
No idea yet.
Send a message to the ship then. I've got no problem sleeping on ships. I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yes,
While
it
he
was
was getting
terrible.
Oh no, before the wrong.
While he was getting braided, Iwazi would have pulled out a few of those ancient elven coins and had those braided with his hair as well.
Ooh, okay.
Are they the kind that have holes in the middle of them?
If not, he would have just fucking taken a claw and like, and then
Easy enough done. So you're going to an inn. Give me an investigation roll for him.
I'll take out 3.
Because you have no idea where an inn might be.
Yay.
Because the only one who does know is in bed.
Ooh, that's an 11.
Takes you a while. Probably approaching 1 a.m. by the time you get to an inn. You find yourself back in the same area where the bathhouses were. It's a simple inn. No one really there, except someone it's a tavern inn. There's a barkeep. There's a couple drunks in the bar itself. But easy enough to walk in. You're the only awake person besides the bartender.
Oh,
How much for a room?
How many days?
Just the night.
5 silver? Do you want breakfast?
Yeah.
7 silver. Takes it, hands you a key. Just upstairs. It's not much. It's a communal toilet.
Have a pleasant evening. Walks away.
Takes the money, pockets
Pays
it.
exactly 7 silver. It's you guys.
It's
well, you pay your tattoo artist more.
True.
you pass some fancier inns, but all the doors on those were closed. This is one of the few places that was still open late. It's a lower end establishment, but it's got a bed. It's got a small window. It's got a musty smell.
It's not rocking.
It's on solid ground.
Think, Steve.
You're going to a temple.
Yes, and before you break any sort of mental link, she's going to say, get some rest because I do believe all of our friends are fighting in the games tomorrow, and I'm not one to, with everything that we've already helped them through and everything they've helped us through, going to have them fight in that game alone, so I will be at least fighting with them. I'd like if you were there because it's much less likely that we'll die.
Okay.
Also, we can ask for shit.
That too. Yeah, actually. You could ask for a house.
We could ask for a house and a good establishment. Anyway, can you get Steve out of my head now? I've got to go get this healed.
Before I go to sleep, I am going to talk to Jabari about the 4 gold that was promised to me by 14 gold that was promised to me by Tilpa to accompany him for this job.
Oh yeah.
You have a good memory, my friend. Jabari will bring you your coins.
Thank you,
Tilpa
Jabari.
does not promise things easily, but once promised, he always delivers.
Of course.
How did it go?
It went very well. Was not what I was expecting.
Where
but
did
few
you
things
go?
have gone. It was a fantastic club. I do not know.
You went to the doldrums.
Yes,
right?
the doldrums. Yes.
Did you see her?
There were a lot of hers to see.
The floating one.
Wasn't Tilpa there with us the whole time?
He was.
This is Jabari.
This is Jabari.
Oh.
Yes.
My voices aren't that great.
The ruby.
I was
The ruby,
My
shall
bad.
we say.
Good.
Yes.
Well, you've learned quite a lot then.
Yes, indeed. And we may be fighting in the games tomorrow, so that's something.
Oh, I will come and make some money off your deaths. You go to
I say
a
thing
temple of Kronos, I assume.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what these temples are like.
So, yeah, it's probably getting around close to the 1 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that are out and about are a bit coming home from tavern inebriated. First person you talk to, drunk sailor coming home. He spies your legs because you still have a really short skirt on.
Oh yeah, after this encounter, she's gonna undo that.
But
She totally forgot.
Because you have such a short skirt on, he sees your new artwork, and you're in the vicinity of the Black Quill. And he's got tattoos, being a sailor, and he's just one of those, he's a tattoo person.
Right.
Oh, fresh ink! And he just starts chatting you up. And it's a longer conversation than you'd like. You have a big day tomorrow.
Right.
But you manage to ask him where the Temple of Kronos is. He goes, that's easy. He's pointing to the middle of the city, a large clock tower. Like the old Big Ben style.
Yeah.
And he's like, that is the Temple of Kronos. Pretty much any building that's got a big clock or a sundial in it.
Yeah, I really should have known that. And then starts heading towards that.
As you're walking up to it, it's literally, it sits between 2 points. And you gather the Temple of Mortis down here in the southern section of the town where the military is. And you see another far to the north,
up on a hill,
beyond where you guys were, kind of out more towards the water,
Yeah.
the Temple of Awazi.
Yeah.
You see a giant starburst. It's a full moon now. You can see pretty well silhouettes. And you're like, yeah, of course, it's in the middle.
Right.
And you walk up to this clock tower, and from a distance, it just looks like a tower with a clock in it.
Right.
As you start to walk up, there is a clockwork mechanism, but it's a person size, maybe 8 feet tall, hourglass.
Yeah.
And it's rotating ever so slowly. And as it does, the sand that's in it is glimmering and it starts to fill one end and starts to filter down. And then it's slowly, and it's in a continual motion.
Mm-hmm.
But it creates this really strange glittering effect as it goes. Kind of like a pinwheeled. It's almost, if you one of those things, if you stare at it long enough, it starts to look like there's like emanations coming off of it.
Right.
But it's definitely a clockwork. You can hear gears and clicks and clunks. And underneath this, you pass beneath this clockwork statue to get into the temple.
Right.
You enter the temple, and it's austere. There is white marble on the walls. It's very austere, where the Temple Mortis and the Temple Duazi have a lot more, they're more of the Catholic persuasion of a cathedral. The Temple of Kronos has a very clean room nature to it.
Right.
There is a symbol of Kronos at the center. There's no benches.
Right.
No place to sit and meditate and pray. There's just this white, clean room. White marble walls with a white tiled floor. And against the backdrop is the symbol of Kronos in the background. What would you like to do?
Darius going to see if, like, temples of Kronos that she's used to, there's a collection for those that are not doing well. Like, churches sometimes have, like, outreach help.
As you walk in, and you start to walk up towards the symbol, you get halfway there, and then you realize you couldn't see it when you walked in, but there is a white, almost a pulpit coming up. And it's of the same material that the walls and the floor are made of. So from a distance, there's no way to discern it from anything else.
Right.
And then you notice, even more so, all around the back wall, there's different cubby holes and different shelves. And there's actually a lot more going on in this temple than meets the eye.
It looks like.
But at first glance, it just looks like a white cyc of a room. And you find off to the left, there is a pour box.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a kind of a slot in it where you can drop in coins. It's got the symbol of Kronos on it.
Yeah. Darius going to put 9 platinum in that box.
Okay.
Is there a place where people can personally pray to the god, like either a small little alcove or like...
You see, in the corners, again, everything looks to me it's material, so everything blends in. At first glance, the only thing that stands out is the symbol of Kronos, but there are alcoves.
Yeah.
And they've got carved seating in them where one can sit and silently commune with Kronos if you'd like. And as you look up, there's actually a large clockwork mechanism. You assume it's what's actually running the clock on the face of this. Mm-hmm. There's gears, and you can actually it's almost meditative watching this as all these gears move above your head.
Deary is going to, especially considering it's so late and it doesn't seem to be anybody else in this church right now, she's going to, because it wasn't by accident that she came here late, and she's going to lay out, like, some of her stuff, like, having stopped by the ship, she's got, like, a bunch of her shit, and she's gonna, like, lay out, like, her stuff and the ropes and, like, take her fucking feather boa off and just, like, be sitting like, not even using some of the carved seating, but more using the carved seating like a table, as if you were sitting across from somebody, talking to them. And she's going to, not quietly, because she doesn't know how to be quiet. She's going to tell someone who is not Kronos everything about where she's been, what she's been doing, and all the different adventures she's had since she was stuck on the boat. And sorry that she couldn't come, talk to him for so long because she was on a boat forever and there weren't any temples around and she didn't want to talk in front of like other people. It's not anybody else's business. And when she's done like explaining all of the stuff that she's done, she's like talking to an old friend. She's like obviously very sad and trying to keep from crying. And then she sings a song that she doesn't sing anywhere else, only to herself and this person she's talking to. And then when she's done with that, she's going to pack all her shit up, look at the poor box again, and like look almost more angry than charitable, and then leave.
As you're looking at the poor box, as you turn, give me a quick perception check, please.
Total of 9.
Okay. As you start to walk out, you look toward, your eye catches at the pulpit. And it looks like the wall, there was a slight movement, like at a person level.
Mm-hmm.
Like the white shifted. And as you're watching, the shift caught your eye. It slowly turns, and dressed entirely in white, with the symbol of Kronos, their head shaved and painted in the same color as the wall, was literally a person standing against the wall, imperceptible until they moved.
Right.
Turns, simply makes a blessing sign over you, and nuts.
She, again, with the same kind of disdainful look that she looked at the poor box with, looks at this person, does almost a mocking bow to them, and then, like, even gestures back to the poor box and goes, "Ain't no excuse. Better put it to good use." And then she leaves.
So, Philippe, you've gotten your letter.
Yes, I have.
What are you going to do?
What time of night is it?
When you got that, it's probably 9.
I was going to go to sleep early, wake up very early, and then go and see him. Unless...
That you'll probably need to do after.
Okay, so this would be something I should take care of tonight then.
It's something that's going to require an appointment.
Right. I should at least set up the appointment then.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Alright, I'm going to then go to the close shrine of Mortis that I know of.
It's the only one that it's a rather large cathedral.
Oh, that was the cathedral. Okay.
For
some reason
very much. It's like a Catholic church-sized cathedral. And it is an estuary. Bones everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bones built into the building. You find the same brother that you found before. He seems to be on the night shifts. You constantly run into him in the evenings. Brother Philip, how are you?
I'm doing quite all right.
You look quite nice.
Thank you.
Cleaned up a bit.
Yes, finally being off that ship is very handy. I have received word from the Honorable Rector Theophilus. He wishes to speak with me. Sorry, I'm not doing the French accent. Yes, the Honorable Rector. That's your accent.
Oh, you'll need an appointment.
Yes.
He typically takes visitors.
I hand him the letter.
And he looks down at the seal. Oh. Well, he typically takes his business during office hours. Between 9 and 5 p.m., but tomorrow is a holiday. You know that the games are tomorrow.
Yes, I do. I'm most likely going to be in them.
Well, do well, he'll be watching. No one misses these. I'll try and see if he'll have time in the late afternoon, perhaps after the games.
Yes, and if I should be taken to Mortis, tonight I will write up another report describing more things in detail. I will tell the...
yes, I'm reading here.
Yes.
They're big on names, dates, times.
I feel I was a bit, honestly, shell-shocked by the time I came here.
He completes reading and goes, oh yes, they have issue from time to time, and they like to keep great detail.
Yes.
Are you aspiring?
I follow Mortis, and I'm handy with the blade. If I see necromancer, I do what must be done.
Brother Philippe, you will do well here.
Thank you.
I'm sure soon I will be serving you.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, my friend.
Philippe returns to the ship. The next morning, everyone awakes. Different hours. Some of you are up at sunrise. Some of you are up after. One or two of you sleep into about 9. Jubari comes through. It's time for everyone to get up. You're going to fight today. I have been where you're going. Ask me questions.
What kind of beasts do they have, Jabari?
All of them.
Even the ones I haven't heard of?
They tend to bring things in from exotic locations. It's entertainment. It's a holiday.
Are there going to be traps or other accessories to the fight arena?
When you state your purpose in your battle, your request, it will dictate how it goes. If you want to be a captain of a ship,
Then you must fight your captain.
or a captain, and you must win. These fights, somebody doesn't walk out.
They're all fights to the death, then.
They are.
Goodbye. I have a question. What do you think it would take to have a noble title?
A noble title.
Even the lowest. Just something.
I don't know that anyone has ever asked for a title. They usually want money, or they want renown, or they want a meeting.
Well,
A title.
the way I see it
Well, a captain is a
Captain
sort of title.
is a title, and I'm sure there's going to be a lesser noble that simply wants.
Well, it
more
would depend, I guess, on
manifestation.
your title.
Let me ask this, if you do not know, I understand. If I were to ask for access to the Arcana, would I be fighting a mage?
No. You, like all adventurers, you wish to have the fancy magical weapons, the fancy armor, that which makes you more than you are. That is why all ask for access to the Arcanum. It is not an unusual request. The Arcanum, they are very private, and you have to be worthy of their time. This is one way of proving your worth.
Noted. What would the terrain be like?
It all depends on what you fight. Some things can alter the terrain. I fought a Minotaur.
Let me ask this last question then. If we fight as a group, is it the entire group's ask or individual?
If you fight as a group, I will imagine they would take everything into consideration, though most outfits that fight as a group are usually mercenaries looking to make a name for themselves, because by winning in the arena, then when they come out of the arena and they go to have, by the time they've had their dinner that night, they've had 3-4 people come calling, wanting them to do this or that for large sums of money.
So, Jabari, if our group has a request,
I was told you are to receive a crate.
yes,
Tilpa has set it aside, the rest have gone, but it is here for you when you need it.
I will make sure to mark it and handle it. But Jabari, if we as a whole make a request, and there are personal requests upon that, we should go ahead and assume then that our challenge will be compounded.
Correct. That is a very good assumption.
Alright.
I
So
suppose in that case, if, for example, you wanted to be a noble, but did not ask.
Let me say this. You want to be a noble. You want access to the Arcanum. Do you want something for shooting? I don't know. You want to be no longer a tiefling. You want to be a princess, and you want to be a king.
It's a horrid condition.
I don't know.
Indiri's gonna go, whoa!
This is for the sake
We
of
are-
example.
Business tycoons. We are going to start a salt empire, Jubari.
Just an
Yeah,
It is
example.
what
for
are
the
you
sake of
asking
example.
for?
A salt empire?
That's
Just an example. But remember, you must ask for things that can be granted. You cannot say, I want to be a king. You cannot say, I want to be a princess.
We
you
can
cannot
say-
say, I want to be a salt baron.
We can say that we would like the startup, the
just ask
permission,
for a
and
manor.
the... Huh?
Just ask for a manor, an
You
estate,
will
a
say
plot of land.
you will say you want to meet the Merchants Guild.
We want to meet with
The
the,
head of
Merchants
the Merchants
Guild.
Guild. If you want to be a businessman. If you want to be a crossbowman, you want to meet with the head of the Fletching Guild.
We would like the Merchants Guild's
If you want to be a nobleman,
help in starting our salt business.
you'll want to perhaps be invited to some function where the nobles are. You cannot just simply be made a nobleman because you beat a beast in a pit. But you can ask in that you are introduced in that society, and thereby maybe you become one. By doing something for someone who is a greater noble than you wish to be.
Alright, thank you.
And of
Yeah.
service is how things work here.
Diddy,
What?
an estate would be a good bit of energy to have as a liquid fund.
If you want an estate, then you probably have to fight someone who has an estate.
No. We don't need an estate. We need a storefront. We need a business. Because
Then
while
ask
you
for
guys
that.
buy a house, we have the Merchants Guild help in establishing our salt business in the beginning, and then we build another salt business.
So
and then
in
we don't
theory,
have
you
a
ask
estate,
for an
we have
introduction to the
multiple
Merchants
estates. Huh?
You ask for an introduction to the Merchants Guild. Have him ask for a storefront.
You want a
Have-
meeting with the head of the Merchants Guild.
We want a meeting with the head of the Merchants Guild.
If that's what you want. You want, if you're going to go and shed your blood, it needs to be a worthy prize. But it also needs to be a doable prize.
Just ask for something they can give you.
A meeting with the head of the Merchants Guild. Yes?
Yep.
That's a reasonable thing.
And we'll have many
You will
estates
not have
by
to
the time
fight
we're
10
done.
giants for it.
Or death.
Or
I
death.
don't want to fight a single giant,
Possibly
but I'll
death.
do what I
I'm fine
must.
with death.
I'm terrified of what will happen when I die.
I suppose I'll have to meet some sort of
What is it that you want?
daughter of a merchant from a noble family and we marry in.
I want a position of privilege with the Arcanum. I want access like Toft.
So the both of you want access to the Arcanum.
I may be. Question. Would there be some form of, say blacksmithing in this city? Would there
Of
be s-
course.
would
Yeah,
there
yeah,
be-
you went to a blacksmith.
Yes, would there be some form of, is there a blacksmith guild of some kind?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to change my request then.
What is it that you want?
A meeting with the head of the blacksmith guild. I have a certain business I would like to invest into and see if I can help build the blacksmithing up in Kondu, specifically the pinwheel.
That is something that could be granted. And you want access to the Arcanum.
I do.
And you want to be a noble.
I want to have
Well, I see.
a outings with the nobility of the city.
I invest in a blacksmith
No, no,
shop.
there, we must think of a proper way to... It's all about how you phrase your request.
Prices for you,
I wish we were noble,
et
yes.
cetera, et
This is
cetera.
my path.
But how do we get you there?
An invite to the young nobles of the city. Perhaps
You
some
need
sort
to
of-
marry a
I need
noble
to marry a
girl.
noble girl.
You want to be in
Exactly.
society. This is how we achieve your job. Oh, this is good.
If you're gonna get married,
I want to get married.
I don't recommend it.
No problem.
You had a very bad experience. That's not always how it goes.
Also,
There is a dance, a ball of sorts. All the young nobility go. It's part of the celebration tomorrow. If you are not invited, you not go. You want an invitation
I
to
want
this
an
ball.
invitation to the ball. I do.
They call this the Founder's Ball.
They found us.
That is what you ask for. You will meet someone young and pretty and charm them, and you will marry yourself into nobility.
And
Doesn't
therefore
matter
you
the
will
sound.
found a new family line, I see.
And what is it Philippe wants?
I want the new sword. Nothing special.
Do you want it to be something from the Arcanum? Do you want a normal sword?
Colleague, with all due respect.
Just out of character. It's really hard to play a guy that's super modest and doesn't want anything.
Yeah.
Colleague, with
a relic.
A relic of Mortis.
Yes, this would be good.
Yes, colleague, with all due respect, if we do win, my wish is to meet with the head of the Blacksmith's Guild. I can get you a new sword quite rather easily.
Should ask for a relic of Mortis.
Yes.
Something that will aid in your duties to your faith.
Yes.
You are a pious man. This is a good thing.
Yes. Yes, that is what I will ask for.
That's a good one.
Whether I win or lose, it will be in service to Mortis.
All of you will fight together as one.
Yep.
Yes.
We've been through enough already.
It worked out for us so far.
So you guys make your way from your ship. Jabari, not with you. Tilpa, not with you. You're on your own. You've been told where to go. And as you're walking down the docks, you come to a wide road. This road cuts down. It's wide. It's probably, you could fit 8 horse-drawn carriages on this road. Wow. It's a wide main road that cuts right through Kundun. And as you look down the road, it looks like it ends at a giant Colosseum. When I say giant, we're talking giant in the 17th century giant, not like nowadays giant. Probably houses,
The Roman Colosseum is
Roman
massive.
Colosseum, pretty big.
but it's not as massive as a Superdome.
True.
So just to be clear, Roman Colosseum would be about an accurate portrayal. So you march down, and there is a lot of people filtering into this Colosseum. It looks like the entire town is emptying in. It's a holiday. Most shops, businesses are not functioning. They're closed. There's a lot of guards on the street, and all the guards seem to have a royal blue and gold to their uniform. Gold stripe going across their chest, blue shirts, chainmail glinting out from beneath. Looks like they're wearing chainmail underneath this blue and gold shirt. Pants, they usually have a pikeman, they usually have a couple bowmen and 1 or 2 sword shield. They usually rove around about bands of 5, especially right now when all this crowd is going on. There's a lot of hawkers, different wares are being sold, fish and chip stands, sausage stands, candied meats, all sorts of delicacies are being sold. Before you left, Jabari gave you directions, and you go around to the side of the Colosseum, where you find an individual with a bit of a clipboard, slat wood with quill and pen, and it looks like combatants are filing in at this door. You see all kinds of combatants. You've actually seen more dwarves here than you've seen in quite a while. There's probably, in an odd mix of different groupings, you probably see 5 dwarves. This is more than you've seen since you've been here besides Toft. He's the only dwarf you've seen. There are large warriors with battle axes. There are strange looking, presumably magic wielders. There even looks to be a few priests in the mix. Everybody's filing in. Some of them are all uniformed together, as a mercenary band might be. Some look to be on their own. You don't see any beasts or any strange creatures, though. As you're waiting in your queue, you make your way up to this individual. He's dressed quite immaculately. A coat with tails, bloomers, if you know what I mean by bloomers on. They're gold in color. Go down into boots. He's slowly making notes. As you approach, fighters.
Yes.
Yes.
Should be.
A group?
Yes.
Yes.
What are you called?
The refugees of the gauntlet.
The Refugees. Goddamn.
Deary goes,
Yes.
fuck!
In the background. Under the patron of the ruby.
Very well. He writes down the ruby.
You told to say that?
Fighting
We
for
were told to mention the ruby.
fighting for coin, fighting for renown.
We each have requests.
Oh. You understand that each request compounds to your battle.
We
Quite
do.
familiar.
We are foolish and aware.
Well then, what are your requests?
Dear.
Stand next to Indiri.
Thorn and myself would like a audience with the head guild master, or is it the guild master? Merchants.
Merchants Guild.
Head of the Merchants Guild to discuss a business that we would like to start.
A rather grounded request. Writes it down.
From the two least grounded individuals here.
And you, Sir Dor.
Audience with the head of the Blacksmith Guild to propel a certain blacksmith shop to the top of the food chain.
Well, we'll just say an audience with the Blacksmith Guild. What you do in your audience is up to you, sir.
Understood. My apologies for being so forward.
Sir?
A mark of prestige and introduction to the Arcanum.
A mark of prestige.
Well,
If you
access.
survive, you'll have the prestige. But you would like access to the Arcanum.
Correct.
An official invitation to the Founders Ball.
Huh. I don't think we've ever had one of your kind go to the Founders Ball. That would be quite amazing.
And now you will.
And sir?
A relic of Mortis.
A relic of Mortis.
It need not be something grandiose, but
Do you just want something that is important to the church, or do you want something with a bit more? Do you want it to be magic?
He wants it to have oomph. He's very, very. His faith is very large.
Very well.
I simply was going to
A magical artifact of Mortis.
I
See,
simply
there you
wanted
go.
to see if you all were okay with the additional challenge. As
Name? And he goes back this way now. Name?
Philippe Descent.
He's very humble.
Iwazi Ntembe.
Excuse me.
Iwazi Ntembe.
Very good.
Thorn.
Dagon Catafax.
Tofdil Manka.
Last name?
Manka.
And?
Interior Artarian.
Interior Artarian. He writes each name and puts a note to each request. The Refugees. Very well. Follow the groups. Once you're down, you'll be put into the grouping. Play on words. The individual fighters are split off to a different area. You'll hear a lot of fighting beforehand. The gladiatorial games go on. It's also how they tend to get rid of their prisoners here. Those tend to be quick. The games that you'll be participating in tend to take longer, especially in groups. With the request that you've asked, you do realize that this will be a challenge.
Aye.
There will be an announcer. You will hear your group called, announced to the crowd, and then you will be taken to the field. You will not know what you're fighting until you've been on the field, and then whatever or whomever it is will join you. These fights are to the death, though we do have priests on hand. For those of you that are religious, I'm sure it may not be. Well, it may be. It's hard to tell, but there are priests on hand.
There's quite a few in this group, I believe.
I am talking about those that could possibly bring you back from
Yes.
the dead, sir. I wish you luck.
One other thing. Our title is Refugees of the Gauntlet, not just the Refugees.
I doubt he'll say all that, but I'll put it down for you.
Thank you for putting it down.
It's.
I wish you luck, and I wish you happy Founders Day.
That's not as it was.
Same to you.
He motions you down the hall, and once you go down, you're ushered into a room by yourselves. It's quiet for a moment, and then you hear an announcement above. Some names you don't recognize. It sounds like it's a single combat. And then you hear fighting. And more than the fighting, though, you hear the roar of the crowd. There are several thousand people. It seems like most of Kundun has come. And it is thunderous.
If I'm going to die today, I'd rather have my title be pronounced correctly.
They will absolutely not.
Oh, they'll fuck it up immediately. but
Yeah.
I tried. Is my point.
I
We all
I
know
did
how
my best.
History is remembered.
I may not be as much of a dwarf as I should be, but my dwarven ancestors will be pleased if I die in battle.
You have a beard and short is
Yeah, you
fine.
seem like a pretty good enough dwarf to me.
As you're having your conversations, you hear a crier. Everyone's all come down and call out, "The Decadents, you're up!" And then you'll hear another name. "John Tall, you're up!"
I want to make it clear, while this is happening, I'm going to be in silent prayer. In actuality, I'm constantly ritually casting Detect Magic, so it's up whenever we get called.
Okay.
This entire time, Dagon's just head kicked back, eyes closed, humming to himself, leg jumping everywhere.
So,
Yes,
would you join me in a prayer to Dwazi?
might as well. Might be our last.
I begin the ritual of battle with my people. Praising Dwazi in his ways to essentially make life, to create life, to have life be full of joy, sorrow, pain, and all that it is. It is a literal prayer in thanks, to be in thanks for all of life's troubles and blessings all at once.
Oh, dearie, if we are to go to Mortis today, I would like to hear some beautiful music before we go.
Deary, surprised at this request, goes, "Yeah, fuck it." And despite the fact that there's like other people in here all like silently, Deary is going to like, not giving a shit, going to sing the Song of Rest, which is like the calming, like usually the really beautiful song that makes it so that people literally heal faster, and sing the entire time. And like, while all of us are like, yeah, doing it, she's gonna like look at other people and smile like she does not care.
Shit lord.
And you know that look that your friend who really likes roller coasters gives you when you know you don't want to go on a roller coaster, but they don't give a shit and they're hyped as shit? They're just like, yeah, let's fucking go. Like, I don't care, let's go. That look in her eyes, that like wild, dangerous look, she's just giving to like any of the other contestants in this place. Like, we're about to go on a fucking death match and I'm ready.
Elijah would like to aid. He has the same exact look on his face as he's praying.
Tough, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna join you in said prayer, but as I was doing it, head tilted down. I have to do it a little bit louder so I can actually hear myself over the fucking Song of Rest.
Yeah, she's playing it up tempo too.
Oh my god. Praying to Dwazi, muttering old dwarven songs that I was taught with, from my family, and praying to Dwazi for allowing me to escape the life that I was born into.
Dagon will hum along with you.
As you're praying and you're singing, you hear as the crier comes up, "Refugees, you're up!"
Damn it.
And I will show you what you're going up
Keep
into.
going. As we walk out.
Yeah.
Alright, fuck yeah. Well, Deary, as you guys are going out, is gonna shift key and tempo and start being like dun 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 dun, and start playing like inspiring battle music.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
you guys
Oh
can't
my
see this.
God.
He's carrying out a like fully built coliseum out of
It's
minis.
fucking ridiculous.
Okay, let's help him put
Now
it
everyone
down.
is helping.
There's already a bunch of minis in the stands. Oh, this is great. We're gonna die.
We'll take a picture, it's fine.
And that is where you rise up from. Your cell doesn't open, it rises.
Oh.
Nice.
And you are brought up into the roaring, screaming masses. The sand around you is bloodstained.
Of course.
Some of it is red, some of it is other colors.
Oh.
The last of the last creatures being pulled off the field.
We will.
And this is where we shall pick up our next session.
The next episode of the Refugee.
Of the gauntlet.
Yes.
Of the gauntlet. Of the gauntlet. Of the gauntlet.